Good morning. I'm Mamie Mobley. I don't guess many of you know me, not by name anyway. My story, rather my son's story, isn't repeated every year like Miss Rosa Parks and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. But it's an important part of this country's history. So you listen now while I tell you what happened to my boy, Emmett Lewis Till. I was born in Mississippi, but I raised my son in Chicago. Chi-town, they call it. Lots of colored folks. Do you even know what colored folks mean? Now we call ourselves African American and black folks. But lots of colored folk moved up north to get away from some of the white folks with the Jim Crow laws real active and busy down in the South. You know, the Jim Crow laws were created to keep colored, Negro, African American, and black folks down. My son was a good boy. Emmett, I called him Bobo, used to love to come to Mississippi and visit with the family. Lord, it was hot in Mississippi. Sometimes it would take me 2 weeks to cool off once I got back to Chicago. And the mosquitoes. One day, see, Emmett was about 14 years old. One day, he and some old youngins went to the local grocery. It was owned by white folks, Roy and Carl and Bryant. They say he went in there and got some bubble gum. That boy loved bubble gum. I can see him blowing bubbles now. On his way out the store, he looked over at that Carl and Bryant, that white woman, and whistled at her. About a week later, remember it like it was yesterday, August 28th, 1955, that Roy Bryant and his half-brother, they kidnapped my boy. And they beat him. They beat him bad. Then they took him down to the Tallahatchie River and shot him in the head. And they got a barbed wire, you know, like you make fencing, and wrapped it around a metal fan and wrapped that around his neck and threw him in the river. Everybody was looking for my boy. They found him. About 3 days later, the only way they recognized him was by a ring he had on his finger. White men, oh yeah, they arrested them the day after they took my boy. But they were acquitted by guess what? An all-white jury. You do know what acquitted means. They let him go. And what was my Bobo's crime? He whistled at a white woman. I wanted everybody to truly understand what happened to my boy. So we had the funeral, a public funeral, with the casket open. The world needed to see what they did to my boy. Too many folks walking around with blinders on. Just because it don't happen to you, don't mean you can turn a blind eye to the truth. I wrote down a little something that I want to leave you with today. We cannot afford the luxury of self-pity. Our top priority now is to get on with the building process. My personal peace has come through helping boys and girls reach beyond the ordinary and strive for the extraordinary. we must teach our children to weather the hurricanes of life, pick up the pieces, and rebuild. We must impress upon our children that even when troubles come, size of 7.1 on the Richter scale of life, they must be anchored so deeply that though they sway, they do not topple. Take that with you and remember my boy, Emmett Lewis Till. God bless you, man.